Early German films uncovered by Allied occupation men tell the story of the V-2 rocket through enemy eyes. In a last desperate attempt to escape defeat, German science threw everything it had into the perfection of V-2. Hurtling through the stratosphere at 3,000 miles an hour to fall on London, this was the peak of 15 years of German scientific research.
President Truman's dramatic announcement that Russia has created an atomic explosion sends reporters racing for Flushing Meadow, where Russia's Wyszynski arrives to address the United Nations.
Полевой столб, поднимающийся с земли, быстро увеличился в объеме. Через несколько секунд
Today, a new moon is in the sky, a 23-inch metal sphere placed in orbit by a Russian rocket. Here, an artist's conception of how the feat was accomplished. A three-stage rocket. Number one, the booster in the class of an intercontinental missile. Its weight estimated at 50 tons. The smaller second stage took over at 5,000 miles an hour and carried on to the highest point reached. 500 miles up, the artificial moon is boosted to a speed counterbalancing the pull of gravity and released.
The initial thrust to get it into the air comes from the lowest and biggest of the rockets in the tandem. When the American satellite is launched, the takeoff power will come from a rocket, like this one shown in a recent test. The powerful thrust of the Aerobee sends the whole assembly up through the dense stratosphere, a layer of heavy air 50 miles thick surrounding the Earth.
Well, scientifically, of course, it means very little to me as understanding it, but it gives you quite a bit to think about.
What do you mean by the think about the fact that the satellite is going overhead every hour and a half? Does that make you wonder what else they can do?
Well, of course, that...
The voice of Yuri Gagarin recorded from the first spaceship with the first man to fly into the moon.
The Soviet Union has today laid claim to one of the greatest scientific achievements, one of the greatest engineering achievements, and incidentally, one of the most courageous ventures of all time. It has sent a man into space and brought him back alive.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
The mission of the Block 3 Ranger flights was to obtain television pictures of the small-scale topography in selected areas of the lunar surface.
Soon after her audience with the Queen, Valentina Tereshkova, the world's first and only spacewoman, faced the crush at this ceremony in London. The presentation of a medal from the British Interplanetary Society.
Это подлинные документальные кадры. Они сняты 18 марта 1965 года автоматической кинокамерой, установленной на борту космического корабля «Восток-2». Пилотирует корабль Павел Беляев. Вышел из корабля Алексей.
Got right from the spacecraft. Getting my feet out. I think I'm dragging a little bit, so I don't want to fire the gun yet. Okay, I'm out.
Are you referring to spaceman, I think? Well, I'm sorry to see again that, once again, the Russians have put the thing up before us. I'm not that impressed by the fact they've done it first this time, because I still feel that the Western world is very much in advance, and that this thing is just a matter of them trying to get there first every time.
Well,
I think we'll be right behind them.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 has a message that we would like to send to you. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, and it was good. And from the crew of Apollo 8, we close with good night, good luck, a Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you on the good earth.
On Apollo 11.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Docking completed. Speeder check. Docking is completed, Houston. Well done, Tom. It was a good show. They are looking forward now to taking care with you in both of you. When we opened hatch in space, we were opening back on the Earth a era in the history of man.